2022 is shaping up to be the most interesting year in the history of the electric vehicle industry. Last year in 2021, Americans bought about 440,000 battery electric cars and SUVs. And this year, the growth could be quite significant, up anywhere between 40 and 50%. Now that's still a relatively small portion of overall sales. Last year, the EV market accounted for only about 3% of new vehicle sales. If things go well, this year it could approach 5%, but still a relatively small portion, and fewer than 1 million units are expected to be sold this year. Nevertheless, there's so much activity in the space. And as a result, by the end of this decade, in the late 2020s and by 2030, electric vehicles are expected to account for at least half, if not more, of all new vehicle sales in the United States. One of the key areas to watch this year will be pickup trucks. Tesla excited people a few years ago when it unveiled its Cybertruck, a reimagined version of what a pickup truck of the future could look like. In 2022, there's still no Cybertruck. And Elon Musk said last month in January that there will be no Cybertruck this year. Perhaps it'll be ready by 2023. We'll see. Tesla made a decision this year not to introduce any new vehicles. So for the time being, its core business will revolve around the Model Y crossover and the Model 3 sedan. As a result, he's creating an opportunity for some big rivals that are very powerful in the pickup truck space. In particular, Ford and General Motors. Both companies have major releases. In particular, the one that's coming first and coming fastest will be the Ford F-150 Lightning. The F-150 is the best-selling vehicle in the United States and has been for decades. Ford sells nearly 1 million pickup trucks in an average year. And there's a lot of excitement about the F-150 Lightning. Pricing on it is fairly attractive, starting at around $40,000 for a basic model, and that's before any government incentives. As a result, Ford has announced that it's got more than 200,000 reservations for the Lightning, so there's no shortage of demand. The critical issue for Ford is going to be how quickly can they actually build the truck and get it to their customers. General Motors also has an electric version of the Silverado, the Chevy Silverado pickup, and GM has said it's got more than 110,000 reservations for that. Those numbers are smaller than what Tesla appears to have for Cybertruck, which are anywhere between 250,000 and 300,000. But again, the issue with the Cybertruck is we don't know when it's going to actually come to market. So strategically, this could be a challenge for Tesla over the next couple of years, since Elon Musk is allowing two major competitors to move into and define the pickup truck market ahead of Tesla. In general, the key factor that we're going to see in the EV space will be a range of new models across the spectrum, from some relatively affordable ones to some very high-end vehicles. At the end of 2021, we saw startups including Rivian's electric pickup truck and electric SUV retailing for about $80,000 or $90,000 with options. Lucid, with its Air sedan, is at an even higher price point in the $130,000 to $140,000 range. What we'll see in 2022 will be a wider assortment of more affordable, middle-of-the-market electric vehicles. Kia and Hyundai are coming out with the Ioniq 5 and Kia's EV6 this year. Those will be in the $40,000 to $50,000 price range, a bit above the average new vehicle, but still a bit more attainable than perhaps the Rivian or Lucid models. Volkswagen will also continue to expand production and supply of its ID.4, a crossover hatchback that it introduced last year. That's also going to be targeting buyers in that $40,000 price range or so. Tax incentives, both from the federal government and in some states such as California, can shave off up to $10,000 off that purchase price, so that will make them much more attractive. The other factor that's going to be very fascinating to watch will be the federal push to expand electric vehicle charging infrastructure. In February, the Biden administration began to open up access to at least $5 billion of federal funds to get at least 500,000 of these high-volume, high-output DC fast charging stations built and set up along major U.S. highway corridors, making it possible for anyone who owns an EV to consider taking their car on cross-country trips, something that's a little more challenging now for anyone other than Tesla owners, because Tesla already has its own nationwide network of supercharging stations. So there's going to be a lot of activity in 2022. It's going to be a transitional year for the market with many new players, many new products, and everyone is going to be targeting Tesla. In the end, this will benefit the overall industry with a lot more production domestically in the United States of batteries and electric vehicles. And hopefully, as more of these vehicles get on the road, we see an overall drop in carbon emissions, which is ultimately the promise of all of these new battery-powered vehicles.